Welcome to Colorful Anime, where we talk about anime from a colorful perspective. The official podcast of accents, terrible accents. Barely. All I'd say is welcome to the party. If you are watching on YouTube and you're not subscribed, subscribe. And if you subscribe, share it. What you doing? You can't keep this to yourself. It is too good for you to just be selfish. Right. Look at you, just being there and watching it by yourself, not sharing with your friends. Right. I don't want to hear I don't got no friends. You better make some friends just so that you can share this podcast.
And if you don't have any friends, join our Discord because you'll make some friends.
Join our Discord.
I might argue with you though.
That's what friends do.
That's what friends do.
They argue about anime and manga, and
then they hug it out.
And talk about Naruto because that's what joins all anime fans.
Believe it.
But I feel like that's like one of the core things every anime fan come back to is Naruto.
Everybody
and
likes
Ball Z,
Naruto at least
but especially
a little
Naruto.
bit.
Yeah.
Except for the gatekeepers, they're thinking that people can't like Naruto, which is a problem.
Yeah,
because you totally can.
And again,
wait, what?
Haven't you seen the people on social media that are like, oh, well, if you think that Naruto is your favorite anime, you're not a real anime fan. Like, I'm like, all right, first of all.
Oh, that you're not an anime fan if you like Naruto.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is Chris. This is Jordan. And that's Malcolm behind the camera.
Right.
My bad.
Hi.
Yeah, but like those people, though. So like that, what was that video that I think you did on our TikTok where it was talking about that guy that was like
these,
the people
that
were
you
like
these.
It's like women that only like these 4 animes or whatever is like picture that meme picture, and he was like, but those are animes.
Yeah, it's like they're like solid too. They're not
like of those that makes you an anime fan.
Yeah,
irregardless of how old or how long you've been an anime fan.
There was this one, I can't remember what I was watching, but I'm a fan of. I like Giguk a lot. Where I was talking about his video about this show we're going to talk about. But he was talking about how when it used to be when you were an anime fan, the stuff that was accessible to people in the Western world, because he's not from America, but his people from the Western world was like, it was so slight that it was like all the anime fans had seen the same thing.
Yeah, right, true.
And he's like, now there's so much stuff out there where it's like you can kind of take your pick. There's something for everybody. Yeah. There's no more all anime fans have seen this. It used to be that it was like, if you were a real fan, you would watch this because this was all that was available. But that's not the world we live in anymore.
Most people were here with Toonami.
Facts.
Which was dominated by Dragon Ball.
Right.
Dragon Ball Z, technically.
But so don't get mad at us.
Put some respect on her name.
Right. So what?
What did you say?
Oh, Sailor Moon. I thought you were being funny.
I
was like, damn, Jordan.
So yes, with all that, subscribe. Like our podcast, subscribe, rate us, rate and review us. We will share anything you type anywhere about us. We will read it on the show. I know that sounded creepier than it needed to sound, but we want to let you know that we care about your input. Join our Discord, as Jordan mentioned earlier, where the conversations happen. They happen all day, throughout the day.
I won't really argue with you.
Sure. But join our Discord. Those links will be in our bio. By the way, I made the tags and stuff a little easier. Like and so on YouTube, you can do like default tags and certain things, comments, like they can be defaulted. So that was on me. My bad. Made your life harder before. Anyways,
that's okay. I got to the point where I was like, I'm putting a link tree in this shit.
Click right. Shit. Thank you for your tidbits. First of all, we have, as of right now, I think we have 39 subscribers. And we are close to 50, guys. When I tell you how
we on the come up.
That's how excited I am. We're just a little bit ago, we were still in the 20s, and I remember, like I said, I remember one episode, and you mentioned something, and I was like, Chris, you were saying that our subscribers don't matter, or something.
I did not.
Did she? She said something. No, you said something like be little, and you were like, "Oh, we only have."
Oh no, you was talking real big, and I was like, "Yeah, us and our 20 subscribers."
Right. So you was doing it on our subscribers. Is it not? Okay, I'm glad you verified. So
get you back for all the Hunter spoilers.
Yeah, right. Now we're at 39, which is substantially more, and at 50 subscribers.
That's like that is substantially more. That's like a 60% increase.
Yo, let me pull out. I'm gonna do a chart on you. We are gonna celebrate. We're doing a special episode. We're not gonna spoil it right now to celebrate getting 50 subscribers. So once we get to 50, we got something really, really special planned. Just hit that subscribe button. Just do it. Share it and have your friend do it. And ask them, hey, did you subscribe to Color Folk and Anime? And they're gonna be like, no. You're like, do it. Why not? I don't know if that's how that conversation should actually go, but just get it done.
If it does, we want video proof.
Right. Facts. I need
Threaten
that.
bodily harm. Do it.
Threaten bodily harm.
Wow. Don't do that.
That would be the Chris suggestion. Number 2, our Patreon will be on and popping at 100 subscribers. And we have a lot of stuff, a lot of ideas tinkering around, and I'm excited to get to that point.
You want to spoil one?
Do I want to spoil one? Yeah, I'll spoil yours. Okay, because I like yours. If you like being read to, and if you are like
being read,
the soothing tones.
But hear what I'm saying? Like Audible is like a thing, right? Like Audible.
Yes,
right.
I got Audible and stuff like that, and we're gonna do a non-Amazon affiliated version of that, and our very own Jordan will be reading various mangas
to you in a silk robe.
Yes.
In a silk robe.
with a fine cognac.
Jordan's gonna be our honey trap for our podcast.
That's hilarious.
This is not where that. This is the Patreon is not an OnlyFans, so no, it is not that.
And I'm married. Don't get too excited.
So that is one of our really great ideas that we're gonna have on a Patreon. We're gonna have some music stuff.
I don't know if anybody's excited about that now.
No. Well, with Chris mentioned that, I don't know. Oh man.
That's pretty funny. That's
so
pretty funny.
Get us to 100, and we will release our Patreon, and also,
yeah, she will.
You see why I'm trying to move past this topic, right?
They're just gonna hear loud noises like in the background. She like stops downstairs. What the hell are you doing down here? I'm like, I'm reading to my fans.
They're just fans. They don't mean anything.
So like, if any of them are girls, we're done.
Oh, Jesus. Mary and Joseph. Okay. So, and we're also going to be live streaming our show. So when we actually, I don't know if y'all, this is a spoiler. Y'all don't see this when we actually, this isn't live. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell you how far apart it is, but it just isn't live.
It's like, I don't know.
It's live, but it's not live.
Pictures popping up in this space.
Yeah.
It's an indicator that it's not live.
Right. But if you want to be part of the live taping, and you want to chat with us while we're actually recording.
That's old school.
I'm sorry. Look, bro. Come on.
Come on, don't act like we all didn't grow up in the 90s. Come on.
But like, if you want to be part of the live recording, you want to interact with us live, we're gonna open it up on our Patreon. That'll probably be like one of our first tiers. Is $5 a month, and you get to be a part of all of our tapings. Tapings.
Yeah, and it's not that
recordings.
like once a month shit where it's like you pay $5 and you only get the one taping. We
Yeah.
film like every week.
Yeah, every single week.
It's true.
And we would love to hear your input.
She was
So
shooting
it's
not on it.
5
She was
4 for 5.
She was shooting not on her rate.
Yeah.
Oh
You
yeah,
say
without a
what?
doubt.
We're not like them other Patreons.
We're like
where
the
we only
mother
give
niggas.
you one taping for
dancing in the
$5.
TikToks.
Oh,
No, if you dance
my
to TikTok,
God.
shout out to you. Also, I gotta shout this out. We are gonna be on DreamCon's virtual panel. July 25th. I need to put that in the show notes too. Currently our slot is at 12 p.m. So we are gonna leave a link to that in our everywhere. And check us out. We have a really great conversation planned on one of the things that we love talking about, which is representation in anime. That's like, if I didn't call this Color Fucking Anime, representation in anime would have been the same show. Just too long. Like
no animation without representation.
Right. Oh, yo.
We'd have to be the new NWA, niggas with anime.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I figured y'all would like that.
Oh man, that was awesome.
Good. That's a good second option.
Yeah, right.
Yes. So if we ever get taken down, by the way, I think I know why. I think so. Our first Instagram account got taken down,
blocked or whatever.
I think they thought like we were being racially charged or something, and that's the reason why we got a lot. So I don't know if y'all know this. We had another. If you look at our Instagram right now, we got a bunch of underscores. It wasn't always that way. We had one without underscores, and the same day, I kid you not, that we created the Instagram, Instagram took it down. And they never gave us a reason, but I think they thought we were being racist. And I'm like, we can't be racist. We're black.
Like, you can't say color.
And I feel like a non-black person made the decision it was racist. So,
so I'm offended for them.
I don't know about this one. What do you think? Oh no,
He's in the office. I don't think. I almost said hard R. I almost said hard R. Well, you know like what that. I was getting at though.
You like that RDC skit?
It was it was a young executive's decision because the old executive was like, "Colored." We used to call them that all the time.
I just think they're being accurate. So you know what? He's out of line, but he's right.
The one skit, they're like, and those like what? They're like, I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
Oh Lord. With that, we're on to our next segment, Jordan,
which is our "What Are We Reading and Watch" segment. Jazz hands. Yes, so what are we reading and watching? So this, we've all been watching Loki. So we have been, yes. So this is the segment where we talk about.
Most of us have been.
You haven't been watching it yet?
You said which one?
Loki.
I haven't finished it. That's what I was saying.
But you've been watching it though.
Yeah, I'm like on episode 3. But I haven't finished it.
I haven't finished it either though. So have you finished it? Because you don't finish anything. Shade.
I haven't, but I know.
I know at least one person that will get a kick out of that joke. Should
I apologize?
No, just leave it as is. No.
Shade.
He's over it.
Imagination Station? Anybody? Imagination
it's been
Station?
a while, but yeah.
Shade. No. Okay.
So, what are we reading and watching? So, for me specifically, I have been, like I said, I've been watching Loki, which for those that don't know is the new Marvel show on Disney Plus.
Facts.
I didn't like it at first, not gonna lie. I thought it was boring. And I'm on episode 5 out of 6 now, and it's grown on me. I think episode 5 specifically was my favorite episode so far. So that's been dope. I finished Golden Kamuy. 36 episodes. Oof. 36 episodes in that season. So, and it did leave off where they are going to have a second season. They better. Because they didn't end it. So I finished watching Golden Kamuy. I've been reading all of the same stuff that I was reading. That I've normally been reading. I haven't started anything new. Just been keeping up with everything I've already been reading.
Yeah.
Other than that, I watched obviously the show we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah.
And then there's something else that I watched that I was hype about, but I can't remember off the top of my head. It was a nerdy movie, but I don't remember what it was. It'll come back to me at some point.
Yeah.
What about you, Lance?
I'll hop in because I got one. So we finished Black Summer. Which is great because actually there's a critic. I like reading I love going to the Rotten Tomatoes of different shows, especially either when they're terrible or when they're great.
Yeah,
and like especially when they're terrible because they be dogging these like movies and shows. Like there are a lot of horror films because horror films are typically, and I guess this is technically a horror film, but like they're typically always 100% or 2%. because either like there's a movie that just came out. Whatever, it's not important. All I need to know is that in the Rotten Tomatoes for Black Summer, they said that Black Summer is everything that Walking Dead should have been but wasn't.
Okay.
Because it focuses on, at least in the season 2, they do a really good job of focusing on like the drama stuff, like how Walking Dead does. But the problem with Walking Dead is like the whole show is drama. Like, I'm not even scared of the zombies. I'm scared of people's emotions because they're all over the place in that show. Like, but Black Summer is like
I like watching playthroughs of the Walking Dead video game.
Yeah.
And I've never been more heartbroken than watching Berlizzi play through that game. I was like, oh, the baby's crying. I was like,
the game is intense because you have to pick through these different, the choices, and they're like,
no gracias. It ends that way, like that way every time. You can't avoid that ending.
Yeah, I've never played the Walking Dead one. The Telltale game. I played the Batman one, most of it.
Yeah.
And then they got the one with all the fairy tale characters. It's like the Wolf Within or whatever.
Yeah. But so Black Summer, which is amazing ending of the show too. Or not, I don't think the show is ended, but how they ended the season was great. And other than that, I binged the show that we're watching today, but that's all I got.
Correct.
Have I been watching anything? I don't think I've really been watching anything other than the show we're reviewing today. But I have been still reading. Particularly, I've been focusing my time on Mashal and Black Clover. Not to say that I've made very much not to say that I've made very much headway, but I've been reading those.
Yeah.
And Mashal is still just an absolute gem. It's so it makes me smile. Kind of in a different way than Spy Family makes me smile. Yes. I enjoy them both.
Yeah. Malcolm, what you got?
Catching up on 7 Deadly Sins. I'm like most of the way through season 4. Watching what we're going to be talking about today. I'm watching the anime that's really new. It's only 2 episodes out right now, maybe 3 because I didn't look at the release date. Peach Boy, Riverside.
Riverside, Peach Boy.
Peach Boy, Riverside. So it's an anime. It's like a magical powers anime. About ogres. There's ogres in it, and people are OP from the very beginning. One person is OP and knows it and just kills ogres, and another person don't know what happens. And like, what's his name from Demon Slayer? Like trances out and kills ogres. It's a rabbit that likes to kick ogres in the face. Yeah, so it's only 2 episodes, so they didn't really get heavy in their backstory. So that's kind of all I got on it right now.
Cool.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Awesome. I was on the YouTubers. I'm always on the YouTubers. YouTube's one of my favorite things, and I came across a video of RDC, friend of the show. We're actually gonna, again, I told you before, we're gonna be at DreamCon. DreamCon is actually headed by this group of guys, RDC. Shout out y'all, friends of the show. And and so RDC, they have a skit they have various skits where they are like engaging J. Cole's music and reacting to it. And so like Jermaine, go. The real is back. The deal is back. Great clips, great skits,
fantastic.
And so they actually end up J. Cole and Boz, they end up meeting them. They invited them to their video shoot to be in a video in this.
Boss video, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
J. Cole's a feature on the track, but
J. Cole did the hook.
Yeah,
verse,
he did right. Exactly.
Gave him the look. Come on, like
he was driving.
Everything looked like Cole, featuring Cole.
I mean, it was basically a Cole track.
Yeah, but it's going to be on Boss's album.
That boy like that.
Yeah,
I mean, low key, I didn't even know who Boz was before that. So
yeah. Well, and even in the tribe, anyways.
Boz has kind of looked to me kind of like a bigger T-Pain.
No, my God.
Yo. I didn't say that. He said that.
The disrespect.
When I first saw him, I was like, this nigga just bigger. I mean, he's T-Pain, just bigger.
Oh.
Like,
Lord.
With that said, it's just some strays going. With that said, in the video, I thought it was a cool little interaction. So so like in the like kind of storyline, like fictionally, the RDC character or the main character meets J. Cole, and he finally meets him. And when J. Cole meets him, J. Cole gives him a honey bun, like in lieu of an autograph or anything. And he's like, well, I guess you Cole, so I guess I can take it. So I guess my question for y'all and building all of that up was, which artist could pull that off on you? Like if you saw your favorite artist and you were like, yo, can I get an autograph, a hug, a picture? And they're like, nah, but I'll give you this honey bun. Who could get away with that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, in every circumstance, I'm saying, what the fuck? No,
Yeah.
like,
I don't
not
know.
me, but
yeah, I think for me personally, I never get that starstruck by people.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, because they're just regular people too.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the fact that they got mad followers. But
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I like honey bun. So if somebody handed me one for free, I'm going to take it. I'm still going to ask for an autograph though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, thank you, but it's not what I asked for. But for the sake of the question, I would say maybe like KB.
Yeah, without a doubt.
KB's probably one of, if not my favorite artist.
Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Super cool dude.
Yeah. I know he wouldn't do that, so.
Nah.
For the sake of the question,
But yeah,
probably KB.
I'll go three people. Pharrell.
5 people.
Pharrell Williams.
Pharrell could give
Okay.
you a honey bun.
Because I feel like he would justify it too. Like somehow, yo, this is like
some like spiritual.
this is like a vegan honey bun, and it's good for your soul, and it cleanses your skin, and it makes you better at music.
Impression on your heart.
Right.
Or he would just like, free throw you one and tell you to be happy.
Yeah, and that would be enough for me. Donald Glover, that's another one. Childish Gambino,
Okay.
without a doubt, because I feel like it would be funny
as
too.
Which one? As Childish Gambino or as Donald Glover?
Good question.
Well, like I think
It's a valid question.
it's a valid question. I mean, because I'm fans of both.
Marco's like, no, it's not.
I think if
it is.
I think if either one,
Beyonce
I
or
would be
Sasha
fine.
Fierce? Which one? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
He's
I'm
not.
kidding.
Come on. And then the other one I would put in there is Tyler the Creator, because I also feel like that would be a funny interaction.
I feel
That
like he
would
would
be a
prank
fun
you
story.
with a
Yeah, I
honey
feel
bun.
like
That's what I'm saying. I just feel like it would be a
That would
memorable
be a fun
experience.
story.
I wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
He did something to that. He did something to that honey
Like,
bun.
He
say
laced
like
it with
that
something,
shit,
yeah.
though.
He's no. This is like
I'm
this
not
is
going to give you an
Igor.
autograph, but here goes a honey bun.
that was a really good impression.
Yeah,
by the
that was a
way.
really
That
good
was solid.
impression, yeah.
No, wait, we just said this is the episode sponsored by Bad Impressions.
Yeah, that's true. We did.
Yeah, but those are some guys I feel like
That's
either
fantastic.
which way I'd be like, oh man, thanks man, really inspiring me as I'm holding the honey bun.
Yeah.
So
This is just musical artists, yeah.
this is any famous person.
Go for it.
So then I might also have 3. One is what is Trevor Noah? Trevor Noah could give me a hug.
I
I
feel
like
like it'd be
Trevor
a
Noah,
funny interaction. For
Yeah,
that
sure.
would
he
be.
could give me. He could
It'd be memorable.
him and J. Cole. Those are my 2 where I'm like they could give me a honey, but I'd take it.
See, that's the
I'd be
thing.
like,
I don't
thank
feel like
you.
J. Cole. I wouldn't let J. Cole get away with that. That's the one person I wouldn't. I'm like, nah, you smarter than that. Then you graduate. Like, what's going on?
Did
Like,
you graduate? The other person is Jasmine Sullivan.
yeah, yo,
She could give me a pencil. I don't know.
an eraser. Foreshadowing.
Uh-oh.
See what you did there?
Yeah, I would be like, I mean, thank you. You want me to go up on my way? Can you just do that one roll real quick? I'll be out. Like, just do it as I walk out the door. Like, I'm good. I've been in your presence. I'm fine.
Lord
Yep.
Jesus.
Yeah. I love Jasmine Sullivan.
Do you?
I do.
I see.
The video of her singing home as a 8 or 9 year old child made me want to quit singing forever. It's like,
That's tragic.
why does anyone else sing if she could do that then? What other voices do we need?
All right.
I mean, you have to hear it. The girl's talented anyway.
Yeah.
I would.
That's
let
why
her get
people
away
pay
with
to
it.
hear her because she's talented.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, who's
Malcolm?
yours?
Star
You're
Trek.
judging
Star,
me.
Starstruck.
Trevor Noah, Jasmine
J. Cole.
Sullivan,
And J.
Jasmine.
Cole.
J. Cole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Starstruck over here.
I do. I love her. That would be dope as hell to meet her.
Yeah.
In real life. It
Yeah.
probably won't happen. And if I did, I would say shit. But that's okay.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Right.
Y'all ever watch the show Community at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That show's
The
hilarious.
episode where Donald Glover's character meets the Reading Rainbow dude.
Oh, he was
yeah.
he was so upset. Oh.
That was a good episode.
Sorry, Malcolm. Who you got?
My person would be Lupe Fiasco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because I don't really want his autograph. I
Right.
just enjoy his music. But like autographs, like, give me like an unreleased single or something, maybe. But
Right. You know, you got like a million of them.
yeah,
So
I'll probably ask for a picture so I can make you and Corey jealous.
Yeah, we be like, as reading the text, hyperventilate reading
Right.
the text.
But yeah, I feel like I
Yeah,
would accept that.
yeah, man. Yeah, that'd be
It's a
great.
fun question.
Fun question. Where we at time wise before I hop into our main topic?
Like 25.
We're at 25. Great, that's awesome. So
I love it when
guys,
a plane comes together.
right? We
Smithers.
are reviewing quite a show today. This show is titled Odd Taxi. And if you've been in any forum or any like anime group, this has come up. Like I've been as I didn't realize it was a big thing as I started going through there. So
Right.
I was like, oh man, this best anime since 2021, bro. What? We in the middle of the year for real? You
Yeah.
sure? And
That's a true
so
statement.
we've got the chance to all sit and watch this. This is one season, 13 episodes. And we are going to talk about it. There's going to be spoilers and you can't really talk about this show and not talk about spoilers,
Right.
because
Spoiler heavy because
Yeah.
it's the context is like everything.
everything
So
ties
just watch
in.
the show before you listen to this episode.
Please, so spoiler.
No,
spoiler.
watch the show while you listen to this episode.
Yeah. You're like, oh, they just spoiled it. So spoilers are definitely included. And I'm really excited to talk about this show because I feel like we all enjoyed this show. This show, Odd Taxi, which is, so the funny thing about this show is that it came from the studio Pix. They don't have anything noteworthy. Like they have a couple pilots that they booted in the past couple years, and they have a couple shows I've never heard of.
What are they?
24H and Spacebug. Anybody?
Space Bug?
Yep.
Mm-mm.
Exactly. So that's the very interesting thing. Like this studio out of nowhere kind of comes up with
Who
this.
directed this? What has he done?
I couldn't find a Wikipedia page on him, but it was written by Kazuya Kanemoto, and it was illustrated. Well, I guess you don't care about who it was illustrated by, but that's what the manga was written by. It was directed by Baku.
It was a manga?
Huh?
It was a manga first?
It looked like it was a manga.
I didn't see
Maybe it was
the
a manga after because it came out January 15th, the run. So I'm assuming, yeah, the manga came out after the anime in this case, which is odd.
Interesting.
But the run started this year. They ran it this year, which makes sense. But this guy, Baku, who also doesn't have like a whole lot of noteworthy.
I'm looking
Stuff.
at this list. They really don't. I mean, as a studio, they've done like 9 shows total,
Right.
and like literally none of them are even. No, that's not even. So like 1, 2.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, they've only animated a couple shows. These other ones are like intros or like music.
Right.
So this is like literally their first, what I would probably consider their
Just
first.
like their debut.
Yeah.
So, and which is odd because
and it's their reasonable doubt.
right. This is well, I would argue that this is like the better received reasonable doubt, right? Like this is because obviously Jay's whole thing is like I gave you prophecy on my first joint, but y'all lamed out, didn't appreciate it till the second one came out. And I ain't gonna rap the whole rest of that verse, but I can. But like this is like I feel like this is probably what rap equivalent would I give this? Who had like a really good first album, or any artist who had a really solid first album.
A really good first album. Southern Playalistic.
Some people would say Miseducation. Some people would say Nelly's first album. But like certain things that are like first album well received.
Is it the Shamar Moore people?
I think about like the spectrum of like things that when they first came out, they were really
VH1
well received.
Yeah.
So we're talking about this show. So first thing I want to ask was, what was y'all? So 2 episodes in, what was y'all impression of the show? Because they don't really give you they give you a bunch of different pieces, but they don't really like tie things together for you in the first 2 episodes. What was y'all like? What was y'all impression, and why did it keep y'all going in the show? Like watching it.
Well, I loved it from the start because it was super dialogue heavy.
Yeah.
And I'm a Quentin Tarantino fan, so
Same,
it gave me those types of vibes where all the conversations were good, and they felt realistic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Nothing seemed like I'm gonna set you up for this comment or whatever. It's just a regular back and forth banter.
Yeah.
And all the interactions cool, and I like how like cynical the Walrus was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what from the first 2 episodes, I was kind of like, oh, this is pretty cool. Especially because it had that like Nani moment at the very, like I think the end of the first episode where it was kind of like, it had its pace and it's introducing you to the characters and you're kind of just getting introduced to the taxi driver and stuff like that. And I thought it was just going to be, because I didn't know anything about the show going into it.
Right.
So I thought it was going to be like this guy and his journeys with all his different people that get in his cab.
Yeah.
And so like
Taxi
it's just
cab confessions.
it has that, right. It has a little bit.
Y'all are too young if you don't know what that is. And don't worry about it. Don't go Googling it or anything like that.
But it has a little bit of that in it where it's like there's all these different types of people that end up in his car that end up intertwined in the whole scheme of the story. But I thought it was going to be about like, you know, about the stories of the people that he's come in contact with, which like I said, there's a little bit of that, but it's not the crux of it. Yeah. There's like this mystery built in it. And I wasn't expecting for that to be an element of the show. But because like I said, I went into it blind. So by the second episode, I was like, oh, okay, there's mystery here. This is going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah, I think kind of along the same lines as you, Chris. I think like I was intrigued because like they didn't give you really any backstory on any of the passengers really early yet, but they kind of allude to the fact that all of the passengers are important for some reason or another. And then one thing that Malcolm said too when we were talking about it was that the intro was fire. So that helps.
Super fire.
So the intro was fire, which that's actually probably one of the first shows where I actually just let the intro play.
Yeah.
Every single episode.
Yeah.
And I didn't skip it.
Yeah.
Because I'm the type where I always listen to the intro at least once and the outro at least once.
Right.
And then if I don't like it, I'll just skip it at that point afterwards, after I've listened to it. But like the intro is not a skippable intro because it's dope. And so, yeah, so the intro automatically already hooked me in because it's got kind of like a cool vibe. And then, yeah, like, I mean, the characters are interesting. Like, you don't know a whole lot going into it. Like, I didn't know anything about it either other than that we were going to review it.
Yeah. So
I hadn't done any research on it or anything like that. I just went in completely blank. And I think it's kind of interesting. It's kind of funny because like one of the first interactions is obviously he's in the car with that hippo kid, and like he's like trying to get him to talk.
Yeah.
And then he asks him a question and he doesn't answer right away. And then he answers. He's like, I'm not interested anymore. And then so it was kind of funny because you have like this weird interaction. Yeah, where like the taxi driver is awkward. You don't know why, but he's awkward. You know, and like some of the passengers really want to talk to him. Some of the passengers just want to be quiet.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so like you have these different interactions, which are, to me, they're pretty funny. So, you know, it had some good humor. It had some good suspense in those first few episodes. So.
Yeah, so I was trying to pull out who. Okay. Yeah, shout out Skirt and Pun P for that opening. One of the main things that got me was the music, the score. So like, I mean, like all the other stuff for sure, right? So like, I'm a huge Quentin Tarantino fan too. Actually, like there's a movie. It's like a deeper cut, but it's called Lucky Number 11. Ever seen this show?
Yeah.
I mean, a movie with Josh Hartnett, Bruce Willis. I want to say Morgan Freeman.
was a minute ago.
Morgan Freeman was
Yeah. It's a few people in the show.
Deep cut.
Well, the only reason because it's like it reminded me, like the way it started reminded me of like a Pulp Fiction or something like that. And it reminded me of a Lucky Number 11 because like the ultimate scheme at the end or whatever. And so that's what got me along with the music, because I was like, okay, there is something going on here. Usually when they use dialogue as like a main centerpiece, it's usually and it's usually gonna
words are important,
right? And the show wasn't rushing to get to anything like in the first two episodes. They're like, no, and then so and so died. Like they didn't give us any of that like right away. You knew there was like. It was almost like you were one of the taxi drivers, right? Like you're listening to the radio of these comedians, struggling up and coming comedians, and you're hearing this dude give random information at times if you ask him questions, and you're seeing like you're just getting little bits of information over time, but you don't have enough to connect it, but you know that there's something building because there's so much dialogue. And usually when people talk a lot, they want you to listen. And so I appreciated that 1,000%.
I think I really, and maybe it's one of those things like it's a modern era thing with like movies and television nowadays where they do a lot of ensemble stuff. Shout out Avengers, I guess. I don't know. But they do like even like rom-coms where you have stuff like Crazy Stupid Love and what's the name of that one that's like it's a British romantic film. It's centered around stuff. Anyway, there's a bunch of those like ensemble films where they do have those like, especially that one, the one I can't remember the title of. I'm shooting myself in the foot right now. But they have like all these different couples and their love stories that they're dealing with. And I'm going to look this up as soon as I'm finished.
You said British?
Yeah.
That reminds me of, no, you're talking about something totally different. It reminds me of this movie. I don't know if it is British, but it's like 3 Weddings and a Funeral or something like that. But it's similar in that way. It follows all these different.
But yeah, it's all these different
Tarantino
couples.
write part of that?
With that one?
What?
Yeah.
He might have.
Did he? I don't know.
Sorry,
But it has all these different couples, and they seem kind of like the only thing that seems to connect them is that they exist in the same world. But like they lightly start tying some of their connections to each other and why they're kind of relevant to each other, even though they don't know that they are in that kind of sense. And it ties them together really nicely. And so stuff like this, I'm like, oh, okay, like that has that same like really, really good ensemble cast type of story built that they were doing, where they start off seeming very disconnected, and then it all shakes out in the end or whatever.
Yeah. Like the first handful of episodes, I was like, oh, this is Tarantino through and through, because it felt very Pulp Fiction-y. Where they just give you a piece of everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, and you only know it if you watch Pulp Fiction that it like they all cross paths some significant way in the end. And you can see that build up by the way they put all these little snippets of people's character together. Yeah,
I wouldn't even have minded if they borrowed the chronology that non-chronology that Pulp Fiction has, like, because it was that intriguing of a story where they could have like put certain events before and after, around, and
But
stuff like that.
I would say they kind of did it probably in a genius way because the things happen in the story chronologically,
Right.
Yeah.
but the stuff what happened didn't make sense until
till
later
the
in the
end.
story.
Right.
Yeah. So the sensical part of it was pieced together like a Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Right.
While
Yeah.
everything happened in,
Definitely.
chronological
Yeah.
order.
Let's talk about this a little deeper. What themes in this show stuck out to you? Like, what are some things, like theme wise, concept wise, like that stuck out to you?
Yeah, I think, a couple things that stuck out to me initially. Obviously, one is the taxi driver and his personality.
Yeah.
Because they don't really give you until you get like later in the show and you start seeing like his interactions with like the doctor and the nurse and like them talking about him specifically and his potential for some sort of mental handicap.
Yeah.
But like you have this, he has kind of like, it's not an abrasive personality. It's just kind of comes off as kind of like awkward and disinterested. But like you learn later that he really does care about the people that are coming into his car.
Yeah.
In kind of a roundabout way, because like he teams up obviously with multiple different people to try and help people out in different ways. He's then pitting these two groups against each other intentionally, because he catches wind of everything that's going on, and
Which
then
was
he's
like genius.
it was genius. It was totally genius. And so like the fact that he was at the center of everything, like he was at like with the idol group, with both of the gangs, like the doctor and the nurse, like he was at the center of everything, and so like pretty much the entire story, like all the characters connected through him. And then so you had that, and then you had with the kid that was the hippo that got famous because he was chasing after what was his name?
I have a shorthand for most of these characters.
Yeah.
And so and I just add Odd and then whatever I can reference. I call him Odd Takashi.
Takashi.
So
Okay.
just because of the clout chasing that,
Yeah, for sure.
that he
Yes. But no, that's exactly what it was.
Through and through, like
That's
all the whole
hilarious.
to the end.
That's
Well,
all
it
he
was funny
doing.
because exactly, because he got famous talking a lot of woo woo about like about the monkey dude,
Then gangsters rushed him.
and then exactly, and then they chased his ass at the festival, and then and then eventually caught him, and then forced his ass to apologize live on TV, and
Crazy.
he's like, and then it was funny because he was like, I'm not gonna give the money back. There's no refunds. But
Oh yeah,
I thought that was kind of funny.
I respected the hustle. I respected the hustle.
I was
Like,
all right. I ain't mad at you. I get it. They consume the content.
Right.
That's on them at that point.
Right.
They should have known.
Right.
But so like him and like his whole quest for personal achievement and recognition.
Yeah.
Like obviously to the detriment of himself. People's reputations, because ultimately you find out that, the dude that he was trying to hunt he's not in it for himself 100%. But so,
Yeah.
but yeah, I liked it. So like, there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah, I like one. So obviously for me, when obviously I talk about the music, but also because I wanted to bring up, okay. Characters are he didn't necessarily quote unquote resonate with me, but I did appreciate the hedgehog. I call him Odd Rhymefest or
Odd Rhyme. I like that.
or Odd or Odd Takeoff, one of the two.
Take off.
Because he's like the rapidest rapper rapping at any given time over anything. But Odd Rhymefest, I think so if you listen to the intro, you listen to the score, you listen to like when they choose not to play music or when they choose to play the talk radio comedy moments.
Yeah.
That was great. It gave me GTA vibes.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly,
because it wasn't like it was something significant going on in that banter.
Yeah.
But it was used as kind of like background music as opposed to music. Because like certain anime is like all, orchestra stuff. And then the intro is some sort of poppy thing, and then the outro is some sort of dramatic thing, and it's just you hear nothing but music. Whereas this one, it's like they mess with it a little bit, and so I appreciated it, and I also appreciated every time the dude started talking, like a fire beat came on.
Yeah, right, exactly. And it was funny because so when he first came, like that scene where he bumps into him on the scooter in public, and he like just goes in on him, and then he just rides away. That reminded me kind of like when they introduced Killer Bee.
Being a gangster on the scooter. I can't.
Right. So that kind of reminded me when they introduced Killer Bee because you're just like, why the hell is this nigga rapping?
Right. Like what,
and nobody else is doing
right.
this. Like he's just talking in rhyme the entire
I'm like,
time.
is he drawing a crowd right now? What is
and
happening?
And he was. No, he was.
Everybody like, this dude's spitting.
He killing him. But it was funny because then you have that same thing with Killer Bee where everybody around him is like conscious of the fact that he's intentionally rhyming.
Yeah.
And like you had that polar bear henchman who was just kind of like the one time that he doesn't rhyme because he's mad. He was like, "You not rhyming? What's going on?" And
he was mad. He had a reason not to rhyme.
He got so mad.
It's like this real shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He's like, "I'm angry." But no, like, exactly. And like, I felt like whenever he was talking, like I unconsciously felt myself like head bobbing, you know?
Yeah, without a doubt.
And then there were certain bars that it would just I was just like.
Yep.
Yeah. That hit so well. Like,
why? Because it rhymed well in Japanese.
Exactly.
And the English translation
was
cool too.
And I was like, dog, this man's just out here killing these people, man. So like I texted y'all when I first came to Canada. When the hedgehog first came up, I was like, "Who's this damn hedgehog? He's just rapping his ass off, bro."
I rhyme fest. He just he's doing his thing, dude. And so like that's the thing for me that stood out was like how they use music throughout the whole thing. And even until the end, like the last episode where they bring that intro in smoothly. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because we know what happens at the end, but it's like a stark contrast to what it's alluding to. And it's like, oh yeah, cool. Right. Great, bright music. And it's like, well, this might not end in such a bright way. But it's like it's, you know.
My dreams are coming true. And you're like, oh yeah. I'm like, all right. Yeah. I think for me, it has to be kind of all the little seeds I think that they plant in the show. Cause I think I'm answering the question. Maybe I'm not. Like the little
answer the question, ma'am.
All of the little tidbits that they like sneak into different parts of the episode. In particular, like getting to the end of the episode and when you see the cat come out of his thing.
Yeah, that was great.
The animal thing in particular. Okay, so I was alluding to talking about this on here before the show. But so the animal thing in particular really is like it felt more important to me than I think it did to a lot of other people, besides all it being his mental illness. So it's a couple of things. So first, the cat coming out at the end and is actually being a cat, and he's like, whew, kind of thing, like, oh, it's a cat. It's like a cat, like a real cat. They allude to the idea that he just has a real cat in the intro, because he saves the cat in the intro of the show, the little cat in the
but you didn't get the tie between the cat and the idol.
Yeah,
but, in the beginning, but that's why it was kind of like
she's a black cat, right?
Right, because it's like he did have a cat, and also he drove this girl. So there's almost this element of, even with Adakawa himself, that he wasn't 100% sure
that he didn't have her
in his apartment.
Yeah,
because he couldn't he couldn't discern that difference because of what had happened to him. So when he walks in the apartment at the end of the show, and the regular ass cat comes out, and he's like, ooh, fuck, good, okay, it's just a real cat. I didn't have a person hidden in the closet of my house, because everybody's been an animal to me up to this point. And he was talking to the cat like it was a real person. And so it did have that, like, nigga, somebody in your closet. And it's even for him, it's like, I don't fucking know.
Well, that makes a big difference too, especially because he was the main suspect in her disappearance for pretty much the entire show. Or at least the main person of interest. And even the cops, like the younger brother cop, thought that he had her in his closet, and so You know, I think that's why it makes even more of a difference. Because you know, people kept reporting him. They're like, "Hey, he's talking to somebody in his apartment, like lives in by himself."
Yeah, and I
You
feel
know,
like
and
it made the suspicion seem more realistic
yeah,
too,
totally.
because
It did.
yeah, like I said, he wasn't.
And they
sure.
never let
They never
anybody
clarified.
open it.
Yeah,
Like it would always get close.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like the cop was like, "Well, look, can I look in here? Yeah, sure, go ahead." And then he gets a call before he
Right.
can open up the door. Like it was a lot of
And that's
those
when I
moments.
was like, "Oh, that's some serial killer shit, low key." I was
Yeah.
like, "I wonder if there's a body in this," but
Yeah.
there wasn't. The other thing though that felt significant for me about the animal thing, outside of that just being his thing, is it spoke to the. So one thing they always were saying about him was that he just, he could recognize anybody, like just immediately. And what it made me think of is like, you know how people have little mnemonic devices that they use to remember people's names and stuff like that?
Yeah.
That part of the reason why he was able to recognize people off hip was because he was identifying them as something. So he had almost a reference
Yes.
for them.
Because that's why he could identify people even if they weren't facing the
so
camera.
it was like
because they still had the animal shape.
his friend in real life taking a picture from the back with nothing.
The monkey.
And they allude to the idea that like something's not quite right in that scene.
Okay.
So he took a picture. He said, "Who is this in this picture?" And he knew exactly who it was. For us as the audience, because we're seeing things as he's seeing it, it's like, it's the monkey dude.
Because
He's
got the
got
little
the thing
hair.
on his head. So it's as obvious to us as it is to him.
Yeah.
But he's like showing everybody else, and they're like, "How the fuck did you know that was him?"
Right.
He was like, "I just know." But it's like, because in the actual photo, it's just the back of a random dude, and it wouldn't have seemed significant to anybody that wasn't him.
This is why I like talking about it, because I didn't pick that up.
Yeah.
So it
This movie got Inception layers.
Right. No, totally. Even the ending.
Yeah.
So I don't mean to cut anybody off.
No,
but
but
the ending, I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of trippy. Like I wasn't sure if that girl that got in taxi at the end was supposed to be the dead girl.
Oh yeah.
Oh, like if it was like a us swap type thing.
Kind of.
Yeah, because
like
they
is
they
that
didn't
the
really
girl
do
from the underground, or is
because
that the
they
girl
kept, 'cause there was
they didn't transition her all the way back
Right.
into human, if that makes sense. So like,
well, and the other thing too is like I kind of felt like they were kind of alluding to who she was,
right?
Because like they had like the fried chicken thing, where at the end she was eating fried chicken, and then like there was a couple things that I was like, is this her? Did she actually die?
Yeah.
Like
that was
which
the
girl
replacement.
died?
Right. And so I'm thinking like,
The one
okay.
at the end was the replacement.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, because she, I don't know. It was just something about the way she was acting at the end that made me question whether she was actually the replacement.
You remember her conversation with her mom, right?
Yeah.
She's going to kill him.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it's like the end of the Thriller video.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was just, because she was like, I found the taxi.
Yeah.
Like she was looking for that specific taxi.
Yeah.
So,
but I did feel like like by about halfway through the episode, I knew that one of the girls had killed the other girl, but I thought it was the dog girl.
no, she was a
You
calico
talking about
cat.
Calico?
Oh yeah, the calico cat
because
girl.
she came off as a little off-putting.
Which was weird that he didn't really recognize her.
Yeah, he
Right.
couldn't recognize.
Right.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Because he could recognize everybody
yeah.
else. Right.
But she was the one person where he was like, I've seen her before, but I don't know where.
Oh, you know
And
what it
he
might
just
be though?
couldn't- Yeah.
No name reference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He never met her in person.
Yeah.
So that could have been it.
That it just did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It just didn't click.
But he saw her as the same thing on both things.
Saw her as the same thing, but didn't know why.
Right.
Couldn't put
She
his
was
finger on
familiar.
her. But then that also maybe speaks to her own recognition of her own insignificance. Like even when she talks about like her not standing out in the group and stuff like that or whatever. And even when the guy talks about her, he's like, she's got this genuine innocence, and is like, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
But that's why for me it threw suspicion on her. It, even like her not wanting to participate in the Badger game stuff anymore or whatever, there was still something underlyingly malicious about her attitude about having to do that, and like her resenting the idea that she had to do stuff like that in order to, like, the main
And her
girl
whole
says
point was
to
money.
her, and the main girl says to her, you, like, what else are you gonna do to help our group earn money other than run this Badger game kind of thing for our group? Because other than that, you're not
Badger
significant.
game is a thing Cardi B used to do.
Yeah, so yeah, the Calico
She
Cat.
talks about
it.
So my shorthand
about
for
it.
her, was IJT or I City Girl.
Oh no!
Just because of
Wow.
the level of scamming. You know what I'm saying? It's like, anyways,
She was
you
good.
guys.
She was mad as shit too. She was like, he wasn't rich.
Right. She was mad.
Oh man.
But like, I feel like, sorry, I ain't gonna cut
No,
you
you
off.
go.
But like, I feel like that was one of the things, at least for me, and we'll move on to the next question after this, that stuck out for me. It's like everybody was trying to finesse everybody,
Right. That's
every
true.
single body, even our
It's
main
like a rat
protagonist.
race type thing.
Yeah.
And even our main protagonist, like we talked about, like he's also trying to finesse everybody. You know what I mean? He does. But I think that there's something there about like deception and how we think ultimately deception will bring us happiness. And like that's not the case for anybody.
Yeah. Love Actually was the movie for.
Oh,
when we
yeah.
had to do
I
this
remember
stuff.
that one.
Love Actually.
That's one of them
that
Christmas
has
movies.
the
Or
same.
not Christmas, but you know.
It does a really, really good job with ensemble cast that I felt like this
It came out on
did
Christmas,
equally
though, yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this movie. I remember that movie a lot. Yeah.
Was
'Cause
I?
some of them are not great. Like those
Oh
ensembles.
yeah.
Anyways.
No, yeah.
Was
We're
I
talking
the
about
o-
you, Valentine's.
Was
Day.
I the only person that thought that Loki he might be a badass? That he was hiding some sort of skills?
so
At
that's
the
Oh,
beginning-
like
at
he
the
was like a
beginning, at least?
retired FBI
Yeah.
agent or something?
No,
or?
I thought maybe that he was Yakuza and that they were alluding to that because
Oh,
he knew
I mean,
all of the
well,
people.
he was being
and like,
funded by Yakuza.
right, which
so
you don't
there's
find out
that.
until like significantly
Yeah.
later in the
But-
show.
but
But
I think
I
that's-
had that suspicion though. There was something. Damn, there was something about mid. It all started coming together about in the middle of the season, like episode 7, and I can't remember what was happening during episode 7, where I was like,
When he got choked out by the dingo?
maybe, and I was just kind of like, oh, okay, like it's not like they're
Why is
probably
that so
giving
funny?
him money.
Because
That's what
first
it
of all,
was.
this was the
Is
last
he a
guy.
dingo?
he kind of looked like one. Yeah, he kind of looked like one.
Because
I didn't know the
because
por-
he's big.
Was
Yeah.
he a
This was,
porcupine or a hedgehog?
No, I got
He's
it
a
all here,
porcupine.
too.
Oh, okay.
Remember,
yeah.
he said he's going to poke him with his,
Oh yeah,
his
yeah,
quills?
yeah. So y'all were calling the hedgehog just now.
Huh?
Hedgehogs got quills too, don't they?
It's a
Yeah, they do,
porcupine?
but not the same though.
Yeah, not the
Yeah.
same.
Did I say hedgehog earlier or porcupine?
Hedgehog.
Oh, I meant porcupine.
I mean, he kind of gives you.
He said it. No, he said the actual
He
phrase.
said he was a
He
porcupine.
said it was a porcupine.
Yeah.
It was going to
Dang,
poke
I
him
was
with
so
his joints.
I was so confused. I
I'll
was
bring
like,
it
oh,
up.
was he a
But
porcupine?
no,
I
the
didn't
funny
know.
thing about Dog is the fact that
Which is hilarious because of the premise of the show. Why would he refer to himself as a porcupine?
right.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And maybe that's like
Is that Japanese
That's
slang
part
for
of it.
gun? He got bullets, quills.
I'm crying.
No, but the funny thing about dude choking him out is just that he was the last person I expected to do that.
Yeah,
Because
right.
there was so many
Yeah.
other people that had cause, that had like they were more
Well,
assuming.
no,
you know what I mean?
because
Like,
you remember he was like, "Oh, you dropped her off over here."
Yeah. He was
Like,
trying
so
to tie
that
up
was
a
the
loose
only,
end.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So that was the only connection where you'd be
Yeah.
like, "Okay, what the
Well,
the
at
heck
that point,
actually
too,
happened?"
Right.
Yeah, and like at that point too, they had already established that he worked for Yano,
Yeah,
and
the
so
Red Fox, that's who he was, not a dingo. Red
Oh,
Fox.
Fox. Okay.
same difference.
Pretty much. So yeah, they had already established at that point that he worked for Yano, that Yano wasn't going to tolerate any mess ups,
Mhm.
and that at that point that out of the two, either Dobu or Yano, like you didn't want to cross Yano,
Right.
Like he kind of gave off that vibe, like he would just kill you otherwise.
I really did like the panda bear until he
Panda,
was
you
a
mean?
human.
The polar bear, you mean?
Yeah, polar bear.
Oh,
You
yeah.
didn't like the
Was
polar
a
bear
scar. No, I liked him online. He was real cute, and
Yeah,
then
well-
he turned into a human. I was like,
with the
oh,
scars on his face.
That's
Well, we'll,
disappointing.
What time are we at right now? Okay, we'll go to our next two. So I'll wrap this up into one question, and then we'll do our rating. What are some of your favorite moments and characters in the show?
Well, I think when the alpaca busts out the capoeira moves on,
Oh man.
old boy,
Oh, she was cute.
he thought it was sweet for a hot second, and then she kicked him upside his head, and I was like, "Ooh, okay."
Directly in the head.
Well, it was funny because we talked about that in the meeting or beforehand, that they had like that super serious moment where he's telling her like, "Don't get involved. I'm dangerous. People are trying to kill me, or people are like chasing after me, or whatever."
Yeah.
And then you had this like really weird moment where she's like, "Well, I can do capoeira," and he's like, "What?"
Like why?
What?
Why?
Wow.
How?
Yeah, exactly. Like how
In the middle of Japan, you know capoeira?
Yeah, exactly.
Out of all the available martial arts
Yeah,
that originated
like
here.
that one, right?
You
And then she's just like
capoeira?
busting out. She's looking straight ahead, and she's just like going side to side.
So serious. You're doing the
So serious.
doing the whole move.
And then he comes out the car trying to kick her ass, and she hits him with that first little low kick, and he's like, "Oh!" And I was like, "Okay."
You done messed up.
and she wanted to do the little roundhouse kick so bad.
Exactly.
Yo.
She did.
They
Bro.
had that
She did the little
Bro,
roundhouse
that
kick.
was
Oh man.
hilarious, bro. I was
that
dying
brother
at that
is
scene.
gone.
And then she, right, exactly. And then she was like, "See, it was useful." And then, so that was one of my favorite moments.
Yeah.
I think when they first introduced the hedgehog dude,
Oh,
or the
without a doubt.
porcupine, Yano. So
Yeah.
that first scene where guy knocks him off the scooter and he just like goes ham, and then later when he's like interrogating Kakihana,
Yeah.
and he's just like. Well, and one, he like makes him call his mom, and he's like laughing on the
Oh,
phone, and
no,
he's
that
like
was
crying.
funny.
I was like,
That
bro,
was funny.
that's messed up, dog. Like,
It is,
I think we
Yeah.
all hated the monkey.
well, he was just kind of like, yeah,
The bitch
He
ass
he was
nigga.
He
kind
was
of
like
like
the
a
Don
dirty-
Knotts
he was a
of
dirtbag.
the show.
yeah,
Don Knotts, a
Oh, you
super
talking
old
about-
reference.
The
yeah,
simp.
no, not Dobu, the other
No,
guy.
not Dobu. You
Not
talking about
Dobu.
the
No.
old
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
He's not
the
a
one
monkey. He
that,
doesn't
Not
have a
that
He
tail.
was that
Dobu.
old of a man
Right.
until he turns
the
human.
one that
and
was
he
going to
like,
the loan sharks for
Yeah.
money. Yeah,
Yeah. No.
I was like, nigga, 18 anyway?
right.
Yuck.
And like in human form, he was like 60.
Yeah, he was.
So-
Like,
Yeah.
Yuck.
he was
Like,
like.
he was exercising his, or at least he thought he was exercising his options. And
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
he
work out well.
He was not a high
he was
value
not
man.
a high value man. That was not your place, man. No, I agree with that too. Like I think Rhyme Fest, I'll call him. It's like all his moments. He didn't miss. He
Yeah,
didn't
that's
miss
true. He
any of
didn't.
his moments.
He was
that
a great character.
Yeah, without a
fantastic
doubt.
character.
Oh man, yeah.
He was a great character.
I think I liked the doctor.
Yeah.
I liked the gorilla. I liked the baboon.
Yeah, I like the baboon.
I think the
too.
baboon at first gave you off kind of like
You talking
What?
about Dobu?
Yeah,
yeah,
Dobu.
yeah. And but then later was he a baboon? Ah,
He looked like it. He had like the
baboon.
colorful tufts on his
Yeah,
cheek. I
yeah.
think they
Something.
probably
His
was a baboon.
baboon
Yeah.
esque.
Yeah.
Or maybe a gibbon. Maybe it kind of looks more like a
Bamboo,
Maybe.
bamboo.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Gibbon,
Wikipedia calls him a
mandrill, one of
baboon,
those.
so
Right,
I don't know.
one of
Hopefully.
those monkey.
But he had like kind of a bushy tail though, which
Right,
a lot of
I
monkeys
did-
don't have.
Yeah,
some of
I
them-
don't know.
Yeah. Right.
it's a thing. I don't know my animals like that. I didn't know that the thing was a porcupine.
How did you not? It was great.
But I don't know.
And he
I
had
just
spiky hair.
Just this. I was like, oh, it's got spiky hair. It's a furry thing. That's what it felt like. Anyway,
You're a
he was. Shut up, Uncle.
Shut up, Malcolm. Go ahead.
I liked that he was smarter than he seemed.
Yeah.
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 I didn't think that they were going to give him that angle. at
Yeah.
all, because
I thought he
like,
was just gonna be like a dumb thug kind
Right.
of thing, but he was a lot smarter than he seemed, and so
That-
it gave you that kind of like, yeah, like he's been like cast off as like the small time job person, and
Yep.
the porcupine gets all the attention, but it was like, oh no, he has just enough potential to be a big job guy.
Right.
Yeah.
But he just like it never hit for him. It was like you saw that it wasn't necessarily that he wasn't as good and he was grasping at straws. His rival was someone he would never align with. It was just like he didn't have any luck, and they talk about luck a lot in the show.
Right.
But it was
Yeah.
like he's one of the unlucky ones. Like there were lucky ones and unlucky ones just throughout the show. And he was one of the unlucky characters that they
Right.
kind of highlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were gonna
And
say
then
something about
Adakawa
that.
Yeah,
too.
The,
I love
I think the
Adakawa.
cool thing about like nobody. I mean, you can argue the monkey, but nobody was really an idiot.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
Like nobody was, even the radio guys. Like you hear their banter, and
The
then when you
Simp
see him
guy
in
was
real
an
life.
idiot, though.
I mean, but he was like a.
True.
Nah.
He was like a
an
lottery.
idiot and a creep.
Well, he was like a lottery ticket guy.
Yeah.
You know, just like the dude
Just the
that
other guy that
with the
actually won the
eraser.
lottery.
Yeah. I mean, but he like the people that was trying to get it quick. Everything
Fell apart.
fell apart for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But nobody was like stupid. Let's say stupid. Like nobody. There was
I
no
maintain
jester. There were no jester characters or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, like a jester. Like he wasn't a jester.
Like a
character.
comedic relief. Like you had
Yeah.
comedic moments, like
I
the
didn't feel
lottery
sorry for him
dude.
at all.
Huh?
I said I didn't feel sorry for him at all. I know that maybe I was
didn't really
supposed
either,
to
though.
a little bit, but I was like,
I didn't either.
mm.
Yeah.
See, in more Tarantino, that reminded me of when the dude had the cop tied to the chair. Matt
Yep. Oh my
had the cop
gosh.
tied to the chair.
Oh.
Because he was just punching him and kicking him like while he was tied.
Yeah.
If he would have jumped on him and cut off his ear, you would have known it was a real.
Right.
He took all the
Tarantino moves.
Right.
Which is fine, but
Yeah.
because I liked it. But yeah.
Oh, then Malcolm was
Oh, what
your
was what?
favorite?
Oh, my favorite character?
Yeah,
The
our
Walrus.
moments.
Yeah.
The Walrus, because I'm sarcastic like that. But I was like, oh, this is the coolest guy ever.
Not the coolest guy ever.
Coolest guy ever. He manipulated the whole show.
Yeah.
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 On purpose.
He
Like not by
finessed it.
accident, not on no Forrest Gump by accident stuff. Like
Yep.
he had a legit plan, and then when things went sideways, he automatically adapted his plan.
Mhm.
Yep.
Like he was,
What was
I
going on?
liked his character.
You know what I also liked about his character? Like, and they mentioned it a few times. They're like, "You're not scared?" It's like, "No, I'm really
Terrified.
scared.
Yeah, I'm terrified.
I'm terrified. Like, what are you
Terrified.
talking about?"
It's
But I
like
know
you
that
don't
this-
see the animated sweat marks
Right.
on my face.
But
I'm real nervous
But I got
right
to
now.
see it through, my boy. Like I'm gonna have to see it through. But I am still scared. Like,
Yeah. Because and the thing. And when he was getting choked out by the dingo, no,
Yeah.
by the fox,
Yeah.
that was like, oh, shit's real moment.
Ah,
I think
Suge
even
Knight.
for him in the
Yeah.
show,
He
because
was
nothing.
like, "Oh, I'm fucking with some real niggas right now.
Yeah.
I need to be more careful."
Oh, they
Right.
serious.
And when he was like, "Oh, this motherfucker's trying to kill me.
Yeah.
Me? What did I
Right.
do?" Yeah.
Stop
Right.
messing with these people.
But when that eraser fell out
Yo.
of his pocket,
Yo.
I was like, oh shit.
That saved his life.
I
Yeah,
was like, oh,
exactly, yeah.
shit.
Because that dude was really finna shoot him.
I'm like, he
Yeah.
was-
Like,
He was
finna
like,
kill him.
Now
"Oh,
he
now
gonna shoot
you
the
got to die. Now you have to die."
and
Geechee.
Dabu was trying to be like, you ain't got no bullets, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Blah,
right.
blah. No hesitation.
My was like, "Are you feeling lucky?
He
Or
was
are
like,
you
yo,
punk?"
dying.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Hey, you remember the Chappelle show, the Mad Railroad?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding.
Oh, and Otacon was like, "You'll be all right. I'm gonna go."
Yeah, you got this. You brought this on yourself, homie.
Right. I mean, so I was like, I was trying to get your ass
he
murked
was
anyway.
like, no, he
so.
was like, that's what you get.
Like, you just got
you would have been doing all of this.
Yeah,
Look at us.
You, sir, are a criminal. Criminals get shot.
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You should have stepped over him like Iverson.
Yeah,
That
right,
would've been-
exactly.
First of all, that reference would have killed me. I would
You'd be like, "This is the greatest show of all time."
It is the greatest show of all time.
Oh my gosh, that was great. So good.
Yeah.
That whole show was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great.
Oh
Cause
man, let's do this.
yeah,
I can talk about the show for hours just because
Right.
it's so many layers. Like I do like the fact that him viewing these people as like there's this parallel of him being able to like be introspective almost, or to be able to at least see like kind of the inside of everybody. But he's seeing them on the outside, like he's seeing their nature on the outside, like as they're like being these different animals. And I just thought of how dope that was. That like obviously he had all these he had trauma. He had trauma that he was experiencing that caused this condition for a long time for him. But I do think that like there's something to one, how multifaceted everybody was.
Yep.
But two, how like everybody, like I said, he was able to kind of see what usually it takes a lot of people to see in people. Like you have to like even the dude that got finessed by the Calico Cat by IJT. Like he was able to see a lot of this stuff off rip, and even that, he was like he wasn't.
Well, I mean,
he's an
oh,
idiot.
he was
He's
like,
an
yo,
idiot,
this
but
is
I'm gonna
dope,
say
bro.
my friend.
Like he told him from yo, what are you? The information don't add up.
Right.
Like,
He
why
was
would
like,
you?
dude, what would an 18-year-old want to do with your ass?
Right.
And he was like,
and you had to lie about how much money you
Right.
made.
Yeah,
Right.
like don't you see that? Like he did that with a lot of different people.
All of them, yeah.
And so I do
like,
appreciate
think about
it.
it for a second.
Right.
Think about it.
It's like, yo, why you playing? Hey, but it's like, though, anyways, all that to say is great show. Now we got to rate it.
The greatest.
Now we got to rate it 1 to 10, 13 episode show, only one season off. I'll go last, but
I feel like Malcolm should go first.
I'll give it an 11.
That's what I was going to say.
Explain
11 out of 10.
a short explanation on your
Explain it.
reasoning.
Greatest form of medium ever put on TV. The the animation was endearing. The script was amazing.
Yeah.
And then the story itself, watching it play out, you didn't know what was going on literally until the end.
Yeah.
And then even the end
Even
was
the
a
end,
cliffhanger.
Yeah.
The end was a cliffhanger in and of itself. So it's like,
Yeah.
let's show, twists and turns every way. And it's exactly like all the Tarantino movies put together into one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like how this thing plays out in Quentin Tarantino fans. So
Yeah. And
Some-
clearly,
some
whoever,
another-
and we ain't got no credits on them because they freshmen in the game, but clearly they observe American art, especially
Yeah.
they were probably Tarantino students,
Yeah.
being like, oh man, yeah. Anyways,
I think I did really, really enjoy it. I'm not gonna give it a bad rating. I'm not. I actually, to the point we were watching the one video and No Country for Old Men came up, and I was like, the dialogue reminds me of Tarantino, but the cadence reminded me of No Country for Old Men. It's a much brighter No Country for Old Men, but that the way that they handle some of the themes in that movie reminded me a little bit of the way that they were handling in this one. I feel like I'm at a 9.5 out of 10, because it is really, really, really.
So what's the
good.
0.5?
I think the 0.5 is because though I felt like the animation was it was endearing, and I didn't mind a lot of the direction choices that they took, but there were moments that didn't feel perfect, if that makes sense. I don't know. There's just some stuff where I was kind of like, meh. I wasn't just the entire time. Does that make sense?
No.
Oh, well, you gave it an 11, so I'm sure it doesn't. 9.5 is an excellent rating.
Right.
Stop it.
Anything less than perfect for Malcolm is an affront.
Right.
right?
Well, in this case,
How dare you?
Throw down the gauntlet. We shall duel like the
this
olden
is
days.
reverse Uncle Kevin. Clearly, it's a 10.
Right.
Have at thee, babe.
Right.
I'd probably give it a 10. Because I mean, it's like you guys said, the animation is good. The story, the pace of the story itself, I felt it was really well written. The dialogue, there's no wasted dialogue in the show. Every single piece of dialogue in the show has a purpose. There's no conversations that are just toss away conversations. Everything is important to the story and the development of the story. All the characters were great. They're again, same thing. There were no wasted characters. There wasn't specifically, like you said, there wasn't specifically a gag character.
Right.
Like a lot of animes will fall back on needing a character to be that funny character.
Yeah.
I felt like there was enough moments where it produced its own humor without there needing to be that character.
Yeah.
So it didn't fall into kind of tropey territory, in my opinion. And then the story was engaging where it kept you kind of oh, what's going to happen next? On the kind of on the edge of your seat where you're okay, they gave you a little, like the first few episodes are giving you pieces like little breadcrumbs, and you're following the trail where the breadcrumbs grow, and then there's just like an explosion of breadcrumbs, and you're like, damn, it's all connected, and then and then they wrap it up really nicely. And then the end too, like the end, like it messes with your mind a little bit. Obviously, there's the huge reveal that he was mentally handicapped because of his accident, and he was seeing everybody as animals, even though they all were all humans. Yeah. So like, I felt like the ending was super good too. Mm-hmm. And so I mean, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. And it's short, which a lot of people want short, good stories.
And I think I know what it was. That there was that one loose end with the short comic in the high school student, where I was just kind of like,
I didn't know what they were.
Why is that there?
Yeah, I didn't know
what you mean. Was it? Well,
that was after they first went to the tryout.
Yeah. Well, how was that a loose end?
Because it didn't feel necessary.
It was to build the tension between.
Yeah, right. But the reveal of the high school student didn't feel necessary to the story.
It was added tension.
Yeah. Well, I know it's supposed to add tension, but there was tension. The tension was already there and it was already building. I didn't need that.
But it didn't. It gave the hog a reason to not hang on.
Right.
And it was okay. Am I going to go with?
Like, it gave him
another
out.
Yeah,
it gave him out. Yeah.
I can see that.
But I feel you though.
Really,
I feel you.
I didn't need it.
Yeah.
Wrong scores, wrong.
I'm gonna give it a 10, and the only thing I'll add I'll expound on
who's over here that didn't give it a 10?
Shut up, Malcolm.
Who's the wrongest one out of the group right now?
I gave it a 9.5.
Who is the most wrong in the room?
Oh, Jesus.
So like, the one thing I'll say is like, I challenge any other writer, director to one season. You get 13 episodes, right? Like I challenge that to the Bleach folks. I challenge that all the other folks in Shonen. I challenge all these other writers to just get one season. You get 13 episodes, and I doubt that many of them will come up with a story like this.
Because it was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, it was. It was a lot.
It was all. Yeah, it was like if it was like if Pulp Fiction was given like a short series, and he had a chance to like let all those moments breathe and those relationships breathe, and like let those characters build even more than they did in that short film.
Yeah. And
it's not a short film, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm a fan of being concise, because that's the one thing I don't like about animes is the bloated ones, like that are like, why what are we here for? What are we talking? Right, I talk about, obviously my favorite one, Bleach. I always talk about is the arc. What? Why are there vampires in here? Like,
Why?
This isn't Blade. This isn't like walking. What are we doing?
Or like, Naruto clone mutinies.
Yeah, like why? Why are we here in this anime? Like, how did we get here? And this episode, they spent every single episode being deliberate about telling a really good story, with a really good set of themes in it. And I think it also kind of places like, one of the smaller things I appreciated was like, it's talking about consumerism a little bit. And they start off in the first episode about it and they follow it through a bit. Obviously the whole thing is about like the heart of the person. That's kind of like the bigger thing, but I do appreciate like him in the beginning even being like, hey, this is how you go viral. And it's not how you go viral. It's like when people post wholesome moments, bro. No, that's not it. You're just trying to chase what everybody else is doing, but like we see everybody else doing that same thing, like doing things to please them, to consume things to please them.
I love his why. He was like, why are you trying to go viral?
Exactly.
And he was like, oh, because my friends are. And he was like, okay.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the only other show that gave me that kind of like, well, this was pretty damn perfect, was that first season of Promised Neverland. The pacing that they chose and the way they told the story, the way
gave you 9.5 vibes.
Yes, Malcolm, it gave me 9.5 vibes. Okay.
Chris doesn't give out perfect.
And that was another thing about the show, Lance, that everybody,
I give myself a room.
Everybody was chasing something, because even
the rat race,
even the walrus ended up chasing something, which was the alpaca chick. So everybody was motivated by what they were chasing in the movie, which I was probably an underlying theme he meant too.
Yeah, and everybody was willing to screw somebody over to do it too. Which
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
more.
And it made it where you couldn't judge that girl.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
couldn't judge her that hard because everybody was kind of in that same field. And I think that they wanted you to think that other girl was gonna kill her.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing
because they were like,
they made
you would kill somebody.
the lily white alpaca drug dealer.
Yo,
right.
the neighborhood man. That's funny.
She on the block.
She got them pills.
Dope man. Anyways,
She did pull that, like, I mean, we used to be together move too.
Yeah.
That's
She really
We're
did.
not really together
that would have been
anymore.
recorded for like a Drake intro to the song
Man.
for sure. Like her whole spiel on Dobu was like, "You come on, man, we gotta let that guy go." All right.
But listen, she was letting go of her future to get her Russell Wilson.
I saw what you did there,
Yeah.
and I appreciate what you did there.
Well, he did end up turning out to be rich as fuck.
Well, which is funny. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, I don't really need this.
Yeah, right.
I know you're like hurt in the hospital bed, but here you go. This will clean you up. Bunch of money.
It's like, oh yeah, he's been driving this taxi
But then he
forever
gave it
and
to
has
a
never spent
gangster.
a dime.
Yeah, he gave it to. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
like, that's the guy that had been supporting him since
Yeah,
he was a
he
baby,
took
since he
care
was
of
young,
him.
though. So
He owed him. He owed him.
He's the OG on the block.
Yes,
right.
I did.
That's
like
exactly
that.
what he was. He
I
was
did
like,
like the elephant.
yeah,
He
I
was
did.
a tapir.
Whatever.
yeah,
facts.
He
Yeah.
has a snout like an elephant.
Yeah.
Like
So
a
they do.
tapir.
Yeah, they do.
Tapirs, that sounds like they look like little elephants.
They're just
I
with
told
sort
you,
of
I
like.
don't- I don't
it
know.
was-
They're
it's-
just-
Do you
I didn't
remember
know
the
that
story
it was
about
important.
how the elephant got his trunk
No.
when he went to the water? His mom told him not to go to the water, and he looked like a tapir. And he went to the water. Then he was talking to the alligator. And the alligator grabbed him by the nose to try to pull him in, and he was pulling away from the alligator.
What is that? An Aesop's fable? The fuck?
You never heard that story?
No.
Look it up.
No,
Look it up. How the elephant got his trunk. Nobody.
Malcolm got
Am I
his,
that old?
Malcolm got his old man on.
Am I that old?
At the end
Was
of the
that from
pod.
Am I giving creation stories over here? Is that how old I am?
that's from that one anime he was talking about where they
No,
talked
this is
about
a
how
book.
the
This is
children,
right.
the children's stories, the animals.
There's a children's book.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I didn't read that.
Elephants used to not have long.
I was too
I was
busy
like,
reading where the
Malcolm's
wild
giving
things
me
are.
mad
I didn't quite get to that one.
analogies
This
on
was
the SEC
this was like 3 years before that.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. All I said, great anime, great show. Watch it. It doesn't take a lot of your time. It is subbed, but it's worth your subbing time. If you're a person that's like, oh my gosh, no dubbing, sit down and watch it. It ain't that big of a deal.
Reading is fundamental. Maybe put it slow if you're not used to reading it, because the dialogue is
It is
Or
quick.
fast.
just
It's
put.
quick.
Yeah, I will put it slow
not
on,
Psyche K fast, but fast.
But it's not a lot of action, so you can focus on the,
Yeah.
the
Right.
subtitles.
Right, yeah, and slow down odd rhyme fest parts for sure, because you're gonna want to
gotta
get
catch
them
those
bars,
emojis.
And
son.
Right.
read the
Bars.
story about how the elephant got his trunk.
Yeah, if you want to. With that said, y'all know the slogan: stay colorful, peace.